So, what are you confused about?
You know, I don't refer to myself as African American.
Okay.
I can't stand it.
Okay.
I know that Africans are not the 12 tribes of Israel. And I don't know, so I say American because that's what I know.
Okay.
But, you know, from what I've been learning, my cousin is really into, his culture and everything. He said that he originated from Jerusalem.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Yes.
And what confuses me is the whole slavery thing. He said we were just mixed in with Africans, whatever that means. And I still don't have the full understanding.
Now you say we were mixed in with Africans.
We're going to clear that up for you, all right? Because the Bible documents the people that were taken from the west coast of Africa, those were the Israelites. And God's going to show you that we were not mixed. Huh?
Were they African?
No. Give me Joel 3 verse 1. We're going to clear the cobwebs up. Because he said that we were originally from Jerusalem, right? So how do we get to Africa, first of all? You wanted to know that?
Yeah.
Okay, we can go. Let's break it down. Let's start to Luke 21. You know what I want. Or who has Babylon to Timbuktu? Somebody get the green bag, Babylon to Timbuktu, and get page 89.
I didn't give him the right to take it and ask me.
It's alright, sis. It's alright. You'll be alright. So now we're going to go to the Bible to show the geographical location of where we came from. The Bible documents in chronological order how we got to the west coast of Africa and how the Africans and Arabs sold us into the so-called Caucasian and brought us to America. The Bible is our historical reference book. Let's get book in Luke 21 verse 20 now.
Luke 21 verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Now this is the book of Luke. This is in red letters. Christ is speaking. Now Christ said what to the Israelites? When you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies. Meaning, when you shall see Jerusalem, which is the motherland, means surrounded by armies. Now you got to know history. During 70 AD, who has a book? You got what I want? Read that. During 70 AD, this is exactly what happened.
The book of Babylon, Timbuktu, page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter during the period of the military governance of Palestine.
So stop there.
So the Bible says, when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with army. We just read to a book called Babylon to Timbuktu, written by Rudolph R. Windsor. And because what this book does is what? It gives evidence to this prophecy come to pass. Now during the year 70 AD, you had the Roman army under Generals Vespasian and Titus overthrow Jerusalem. Read that again.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Then know that the destruction of Jerusalem is come to pass. That was recorded in the book of Deuteronomy 28. Read on.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains. Now which mountains is connected to Israel? What is the closest place? Africa, Egypt. Remember in the book of Matthew, when Joseph and Mary took Christ to flee from Herod into where? Get Matthew 2 verse 13. So the Bible documents what is the closest geographical location to Israel. Read that.
Matthew 2 verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt.
So the angel said to Joseph and Mary, arise and take the young child, which is Christ, and flee into Egypt. Because Egypt is congruent to Israel. The mountains are connected to go into Israel. That's why when we came out of Mount Sinai, we walked right over. Because they were connected to each other. And another thing is why? Because the Egyptians are what color people? Yeah. What color are the Egyptians? They're Africans.
Yeah, they are, but they look different. A lot of them.
No, I said, what color are they? Are they white? Are they black? Egyptians are not black. Not the modern Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians. They're black, right? So Christ what? And Joseph, Mary, and Christ will flee to Egypt because what, they could also blend in because they were a black, a melanated people, a dark pigmentation. I'll get back to Luke 21.
Luke 21 verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Flee into Africa. Read on.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. For these be the days of vengeance.
So these were the days of vengeance. Because why? There's going to come a time that God says, for all your sins that you have broken up to this day, you're going to pay for that. And this was the day that God recorded in the Bible that was going to come to pass. So that's why Christ says, when you see the Roman armies come past Jerusalem, go, run, get the hell out. Go into Africa. Because what? That's a place they can seek refuge. Read on.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe to them that with child. Verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
So we fell by the edge of the sword when we went when the Roman armies conquered us. Read on.
And shall be led away captives into all nations.
And the real biblical Jews will be led away captives into all nations. Does it sound familiar to you? The transatlantic slave trade? This is the time period when our ancestors were led captives and led away to all nations. Bible prophecy is also our history. Now get Joel 3. That was shown in chronological order the steps of what happened. So now, 70 AD, we fled into the coast of West Africa and we migrated and inhabited that whole region. Now, from 70 AD all the way up to about 700, about 800 AD, we were living in the coast of West Africa. It's possible that some of them have. It is possible. I can't say not because, like I said, it's the same thing going on in America. But God is pinpointing the prophecies pertaining to who will be taken from these, who will go into those lands, who will be enslaved. Because we can say that, okay, a lot of our people mixed in with the Africans during that time period. But God is showing you that no, because a lot of Africans, the west coast of Africa was left to us. We still retained a lot of our laws during that time period. We established certain empires, like you have the Ghanaian Empire or the Kingdom of Waida. That was the Kingdom of Judah. You have in Ghana, you have the Ashantis. Those are all Israelites. Ashan meaning the land of Levi. You have Waida, the Kingdom of Judah. So in the west coast of Africa, we had established land. You have also, if you look at the ancient map, it's in Africa, west coast of Africa says the land of the Negro. So all that area was what? Occupied by us. So we didn't have really too much outside influences. The other nations, what page is that, Babylon 2x2? You know what I'm talking about, right? The other tribes, we didn't absorb the other Africans. They absorbed our culture. They went according to our standards. We didn't go to their standards. Well, give me Joel 3 verse 1. Got that?
Right here. Black group.
Read that. This is from Babylon Timbuktu, page 90. When we got into Africa, read that.
The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes. They carried their culture, histories, laws, and written records with them.
So the black Jews carried their history, their culture, and laws. Give me Deuteronomy 7 verse 2. So when we fled into West Africa, we carried our laws. Now what is one of the laws of Deuteronomy 7 verse 2? Because many people might say that we mixed in amongst the Africans. We still have a system set up in place to govern the people. Because without laws, there's chaos. In order to govern the people, it must be governed by the laws. And our laws was governed by what? The laws of God.
So you said once we got there, so into slavery by the
We're going to go into that.
Deuteronomy 7 verse 3.
Deuteronomy 7 verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not do. Okay, Deuteronomy 7 verse 2. Verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee.
So when God brought us to the land where we were supposed to possess it, like for example, Jerusalem, and we cast out many nations, read on.
The Hittites and the Girgashites,
The Hittites Hittites is an African tribe, and the Girgashites is also an African tribe. Read on.
And the Amorites and the Canaanites.
More African descendants from their forefather Ham, one of Noah's son. Read on.
And the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
Because the African nations at the time was greater and mightier than us. So God says, when you go into these lands and you whip these Africans behind, what not to do?
And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt not make no covenant with them.
So we smote the Africans. That's why today the Africans are not our people. It's evident. We look different from them. They conduct themselves differently from us. And they don't stay around our areas. You don't see us conversing with them. They're different people because they're our arch enemies from the book of Genesis, from the book of Deuteronomy. Read on.
Nor shew mercy unto them, neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither should we make what?
Marriages with them.
We understood in our laws not to make marriages with these African nations. So when we came into the coast of West Africa, we already had establishment. What? We're going to stay together. What's going to bind us together? God's laws. And one laws will not make marriages with the other nations. That's it, right? Get back to that.
The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes. They carried their cultures, histories, laws, and written record with them. This assured them a constant incentive for the development of a higher social organization. Because of the stability of the black Jewish culture, the Jews were not absorbed into the obnoxious population.
The original. It means the original. Read that again. Read that
The
part.
Jews were not absorbed.
So it says the Jews were not absorbed, meaning mingled among them. What?
Into the obnoxious population. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the native tribes. The Jews made use of every opportunities. There were industrious and skillful people.
So that's all one of that. We weren't absorbed into the African tribes. If anything, they followed us. So now, from about 70 AD all the way into what? 700 AD was what? Give me Joel 3. We had our own customs. We had our culture. We had our laws. We had kingdoms. The Ghanaian kingdoms, the kingdom of Wida, the Ashanti kingdom, all the coast of West Africa, the great African cultures, that was established by us. Now, what happened during the Mohammedan conquest, you ever heard that? Now, this was Muhammad. You heard of Muhammad, right? In Islam, the one that established Islam. He came and started to enslave us and indoctrinate us. And not only him, but the Africans as well. Because they say what? Africans serve Africans, right? Incorrect. Read that, Joel 3 verse 1.
Joel 3 verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
So God says, behold, in those days and that time. Those days and that time is making reference to a future prophecy, a future event that has not happened during the time of Joel. So because the Bible is a prophetic book of our history. Now let's get down to the point. Verse 3.
Verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people.
And they have cast lots for my people. My brother. What's your name again?
Yamalak.
Yamalak? Yeah. What's your name, sis? Brenda. Can you read along with her? Read the scriptures to her so she can read along. We want our people, everybody to read the scriptures along with each other. So Brenda, Yamalak. All right? Now we're at Joel 3 verse 3 now.
Joel 3 verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people.
So, but Joel, the prophecy of God says, they have cast lots for my people. Who are God's people? The Israelites, according to the Bible, is God's people. So that they have cast lots for God's people. When you cast lots, what are you doing, sis? This one? Yes. Sis, when you cast lots for somebody, what exactly are you doing? you're bidding on them. 45, 65, 75, 85, 95, oh, yeah, so one nigga, you're casting lots, you're bidding on them. So God says to the prophecy, they have cast lots for my people. Read on.
And I've given a boy for an harlot.
And during the time period, they also had, along with casting lots for God's people, they have given a boy for a harlot. Have you ever seen the show Mandingo? You ever seen that movie, sis? You gotta watch these things. Mandingo, they took their biggest, baddest, bulkiest slave and they took him and put him on breeding farms so they could produce more bigger, badder frames for slaves for economical reasons. Because what? Slaves was economics. Slavery made America what it was. That's where they get it wrong, because why? What they learn is what the educational system has taught us. And the majority of all the history books is what? White supremacy. To keep us indoctrinated. It's false advertisement of what the true history is. All the history books is meant, the history book is meant to what? Teach patriotism. And also keep us in a lower state.
And I've given a boy for an harlot.
And they gave men for harlots to be male breeders, to be breeders, to produce bigger slaves to do the bidding of the white man, to pick that cotton, to carry those heavy loads. Read on.
And sold a girl for wine.
And they sold a girl for wine. What did they do with her foremothers? They took them for wine and had orgies. They raped them, used them as bed wenches. Read on.
That they might drink. Yea, and what has he to do with me, O Tyree and Zidon?
And God says, yea, what do you have to do with me, O Tyree and Zidon? When you go to the book of Genesis chapter 10, you have the forefather Ham that descended from Noah, one of Noah's 3 sons. He had Tyree and Zidon. Now later on, Tyree and Zidon inhabited Israel. Before Israel was called the land of Canaan, you had 2 provinces in Israel called Tyree and Zidon before we conquered and overthrew it. So Tyree and Zidon is ancient African names before they became the so-called Africans. Read on.
Hey, what have he to do with me?
God says, what do you African nations have to do with me? Read on.
O Tyree and Zidon.
Oh Ham, oh Cush, oh Tyree and Zidon, Africans. Read on.
And all the coast of Palestine.
And all the coast of Palestine. Who are the Palestinians today? What's your name, my brother?
Muhammad.
Huh?
Muhammad.
Mohammed. Where are you from? Where? Where's that? West Africa? Okay, you stick around. You could be a part of us. Because some of our people are still over there. So, who are the Palestinians today?
Israelites. Over there.
You said the Ishmaelites. Do you know who the Ishmaelites are? So, brother, you gotta speak more plain.
Oh yeah, of course.
No, speak more plain. Middle Eastern, anybody can be Middle Eastern.
The Arabs.
The Arabs. So all the coast of Palestine are the Arabs. So God's documented a time and place. But because during about 700 AD, you have Mansa Musa along with the Arabs with sellers back and forth into Mecca. That is a trans-Saharan slave trade. What God is documented right now is a trans-Saharan slave trade. Right here. Bible prophecy. This is not a game, or neither is this a joke. That's why I say a time and a chance is given to us all. This is your time and chance to clear all the cobwebs from your mind. So the trans-Saharan slave trade is when the African and the Arabs were sellers amongst each other. Not blacks selling blacks. No, because we in the West Coast of Africa, we had our own laws established. We had our own customs and culture. We inhabited our whole region. But the African says, you know what? These guys are the people that destroyed us. They descend from David. They conquered and overthrew us. Now, this is our time. Let's get these niggas. That's exactly what they said. You know.
Will you render me a recompense?
Will you render me a recompense? So God, the African Arabs is what? Paying us back for all the time that we whooped they behind. Read on.
And if you recompense me,
if you pay God back, because God did not choose all nations to be the children of Israel. God did not choose all nations. He chose our people and our people only.
That's right.
God says to the African and Arabs, will you render me a recompense? Because I did not choose you. What did God say?
swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head.
God says, swiftly and speedily, I will captivity. All the people that destroyed us and indoctrinated us with lies. God says, swiftly and speedily, I will return the recompense upon your own head. The hell with this place. Teaching our people lies. White supremacist lies to keep us indoctrinated. Read on.
Verse 6. The children also of Judah.
Now you gotta know history. The children of Judah and Jerusalem was these three tribes, these three kingdoms. You have Judah, which is the American blacks. You have Benjamin, which is the West Indian blacks. And Levi, which is the Haitian blacks. You would descend from the forefather of who, sis? So your forefather is black? American? I thought you said West Indian.
That was the other lady.
Okay. So yes, that's I'm mixing it up. So you be the so-called American black. You be from the tribe of Judah. So you be from the kingdom where Christ comes from, King Solomon as well as King David, the mightiest kings to ever walk this earth. So the kingdom of Judah and Jerusalem, be on.
Have ye sold unto the Grecians?
Wait! The children of Judah, have you sold unto the Grecians? You! Where are you from?
Puerto Rico.
You from Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
So you should be your father's Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
All praises. You should be over here listening to us.
I am.
Okay. Is it on? Mic check, 1, 2. Okay, so this pertains to your history as well. So the kingdom of Judah and Jerusalem, have you sold it to who?
The Grecians!
Who are the Greeks, my brother? Who are the Grecians? What people descend from the Greeks today? Who? Europeans. All people descend from the Europeans. You have the Greeks. Then you have the Romans came into existence. The Greco-Roman Empire. And from the Greeks, after Rome, they went to caves. Then from them, you have the Portuguese come up. You have the Germans. You have the French. You have the Spanish. They all Caucasians descend from the Greeks. But the Greeks descend from the nation of Edom. Edom, their forefather Esau. Have you sold it to who?
The Grecians!
The children of Jerusalem, Judah, the blacks, West Indian, and Haitian, have you sold unto the Caucasians? When did this happen? After the transatlantic trans-Saharan slave trade, where the African and Arab could sell us among each other, guess what? They got together and sold us into the Portuguese and the coast of West Africa.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.